Hey, hello everybody, it is Dr. Steve back with another episode of Core Wellness TV, and today is Q&A edition. I was just doing my Q&A highlights for my coaching students, and I thought I would do one from the blog, and here's a question posted under my recent repost of the hip hinge for shoveling snow correctly, and just the power of the hip hinge and how it can preserve, protect, and save your back. So what Jackie said was, Dr. Steve, this makes a lot of sense. I've been practicing a little bit of yoga lately, and I have noticed that in some of the videos that I use online, the instructor bends her spine while stretching the legs and lower back. This causes discomfort. So I try to keep my spine straight by leading with my chest. Not so easy. But in your opinion, are these girls showing the stretch incorrectly? This is a fantastic question, and it is an area of some controversy. What she's referring to, probably, I'm not sure what specific exercises, but there's a lot of forward bends in yoga. And a lot of forward bends in yoga, you'll see the spine completely rounding like this. But Jackie here says that hurts. So the first thing is, if something hurts, it's not just a stretch, but it actually hurts. And especially if rounding your spine causes pain to go out of your back into your hips, into your legs, or even into your feet, or it causes some kind of a numbness or some kind of a symptom beyond just a stretch, you are very likely flexion intolerant and have some sort of disc issue. Okay? A lot of us have disc issues because every time we bend forward, if we bend forward incorrectly and we lift, or if we do this repetitively, you only get so many repetitions before that tissue starts to break down, and you get little disc bulges or herniation, little tears in the outer side, the annulus of the disc. So my first thing is, if it hurts, you probably have flexion intolerance. So should you continue doing that if you have flexion intolerance? No. You stop, okay? You do exactly what Jackie did, and she said leading with the chest. That means what she really means is she needs to do more hip hinge, right? So instead of bending like this, she's going to bend like this, right? If she's doing a forward bend on the ground, instead of doing this, she's going to do as much as she can with her hips, and that's it. She's going to keep her spine neutral. Now, are these women or men or instructors teaching this incorrectly? Not necessarily, because it's important to have spinal flexion, right? It's a movement that your spine does. So therefore, it's important to create that movement map in your brain. That's what your brain does. It makes programs and maps of movement, right? So it's important for your brain to feel and understand what flexion is, okay? Because that sends information to your brain. If your brain doesn't understand where good flexion is in your spine, and it doesn't feel what good extension is in your spine, it doesn't really know where the middle is. The other thing is the more afferents that's input, the more information your brain has about your movement maps, the more pain relief you get. Okay? Afference blocks pain. Good functional afference or good functional input can block pain. Okay? So, yes, it's important to do this. But if you have pain with flexion, I recommend you start doing it in a very safe, unloaded position. Okay? For instance, if you are recovering from a disc injury or you have flexion intolerance, okay? A good way to reintroduce flexion into your body is through the simple quadruped position and doing the classic nice, easy up and downs. See? I'm introducing a little bit of flexion into my spine, and my brain says, hey, this is okay. This is not presenting a threat to me, right? Your tissue is not being injured. And wow, hey, I'm remapping my brain for flexion movement. Therefore, my brain's happier, I get to experience less pain, and just the fact that I'm doing an active exercise and taking control my body, or my brain, excuse me, is going to drip me some chemicals that are going to help dampen the pain response. Okay, things like opioids from the brain, enkephalins, endorphins, GABA. GABA is a calming neurotransmitter. These things get released from the brain whenever you take action towards a healthy lifestyle. That's basically the bottom line. The other thing with this, I had another note here, is that you can use another way to do this, to introduce flexion into your spine, is to use a ball. Okay? And you simply lay over it. Okay, I'm going to smash my microphone here for a second, but just passive, easy flexion. This also has the benefit of creating a little bit of traction, which is also nice. Okay, so just doing this, let me fix my mic thing. Just also by doing this, you get that flexion. It also forces you to breathe into your back. It's another reason why I like the forward ball layover like this. I'm not laying all the way over because I don't want to smash my microphone. I normally wouldn't be like this. It's better to be like that. So these are other ways to introduce that flexion into your spine, so you can have start to remap your brain, start to introduce then back into the yoga. Maybe if you do a few of those, you can try a little bit of a forward bend. And actually, it's always best to first go as far as you can with your hips before you fold your spine. Okay? The other really huge caveat here is, as far as flexion goes, yes, it's important to have that mobility, but if you're going to lift something heavy, right, 80 pounds, if I'm going to lift 80 pounds, I better not be lifting that weight with my back in this position. Now my discs are vulnerable to breaking the backside. The fibers in the backside of the annulus can break, and it can cause the disc material in the center to sneak out, pop its little worm head out, and that sends off all the alarm bells. So if I'm going to lift something heavy, I'm going to make sure that my back is as flat as it can possibly be. I'm maximizing the hip hinge. I am tight through the center. And if I'm going to lift something like this, I'm going to lift it with my hips, my butt, and my core, and my shoulder blades are going to be down. My shoulder blades and my glutes are all connected as this tight unit, and then I can lift something heavy and never have to worry about injuring my discs. So if you're going to load it, don't load it in flexion. But it's important to get the flexion, all right? So that's my answer to your question, Jackie. I hope that was helpful. If you have any more questions like this, I'm going to do this on a more regular basis here at the blog, so please post your comments down below about what you just experienced here. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you head over to the blog. There should be the link directly in the description box down below, because that is where all of the conversation, if you want to communicate with me directly, that's where it happens. So please be sure to do that, and we will see you on the next episode of Core Wellness TV. Have a great day. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye. Leg very slowly, and if you feel a shift of your weight to your pelvis, that's a fail. So that tells us that you really have to just go back and just work on awareness of your support zone. Then you're going to do if you're going to pick something up off the floor, this is how you would do it. As you come up, you make sure your pelvic floor is engaged from below your Kegel muscle. We're going to show you that from the side, so you can see that the knees don't drift forward of the toes, and we always keep a nice flat back and a nice long neck. The driving force is always the center.